Being in a classroom where your voice is truly heard and listened to is empowering. It shifts your mindset. You're not just a student being talked at. You're part of something that's being built in real time. When people start actually listening to your ideas and build off of them, you start to trust yourself more. That confidence sticks with you, in and out of class.
I think that doing Harkness discussions has impacted the way I speak in group settings, both socially and academically. I think that they've also helped me reframe how I view academic conversations, as it can be really easy to think of assignments like these as a debate, but the real way to make the most out of these discussions is to keep an open mind and ask thoughtful questions. Every time I've had to do a Harkness discussion in one of my classes, I walked out of the room with new knowledge and interesting perspectives that I gained from my classmates and otherwise wouldn't have thought of myself.
If you're a teacher that's new to Harkness, my advice would be to let the students, talk. I think the whole point of the Harkness discussion is to stimulate thinking. So if there's any pauses or silence, I think the teacher shouldn't try or force a conversation. I think that's when the thinking happens, and that's the point of it. If there's misinformation, of course, I guess that's when a teacher should step in, but then there's also an opportunity to have students actively fact check.
I would advise a teacher to give the students a format to use if they're new to using Harkness discussions for their evidence and sources, as well as provide a question that allows students to form many different opinions instead of just two.
I think that a teacher can that's starting out the Harkness discussion, that's starting out in it. I think that a teacher should have an essential question to kind of base off of the topic.
A Harkness discussion is different from a typical classroom discussion as it allows for students to talk about topics that aren't typically talked about in a normal classroom discussion. It allows for students to form opinions that they normally shouldn't be talked about, or just opinions they wouldn't form without being provoked.
And then what makes a Harkness discussion different would be the fact that everybody has authority, and it's not just one person dictating what is thought to be the truth. It matters because knowledge is built collectively, and they will be able to take these skills into the real world.
I remember a Harkness discussion in my AP United States History class on whether the U.S. should have intervened in the Vietnam War. I brought up a perspective that had not been mentioned yet, and instead of moving past it, the class stopped, engaged, and listened to what I had to say. That moment really stuck with me. It wasn't just that I had something to say, it was the fact that what I said mattered to the group as a whole.
I think I'm a very shy person, or at least I speak very low. So I think the Harkness discussion just has helped me see that I can advocate for my opinion or use my voice in a more loud setting. Because many times in class I'm very quiet. So I think the Harkness discussion has just let me be able to engage my thoughts of everything that I've written on paper out loud.
The Harkness discussions change the way I think, speak, because I get to learn about other people's opinions and perspectives about the topic that we discuss, and inside the classroom and outside the classroom. I think it helps me to build social skills and talk more clearly with my fellow peers and teachers.
What impact have you seen in your students' engagement, critical thinking, and collaboration since introducing Harkness discussion into your classroom?
Well, one of the things that I've seen is just the ability for students to think critically and outside of the box. It's like the age-old quote, students learn best from each other, and them being able to discuss amongst themselves about different viewpoints and things that they see, particularly in my class within novels. It's just eye-opening to see them delve into deeper thinking in that.
Introducing the Harkness discussion has completely transformed my social studies classroom. My students used to try to just absorb content, and now they're actively engaging with it. So this has been a huge boost in their confidence, in their research skills, the use of those critical thinking skills that are very important for learning. They are taking ownership of the conversation without me interfering, and they are developing alternate points of view through collaboration. So it's no longer about coming up with the right answer, but the process of thinking deeply and collaboratively. This is very powerful.
Why do you personally enjoy using the Harkness method, and how does it align with your teaching philosophy and goals for your students?
I think that it aligns best with my teaching philosophy because it creates this sense of engagement for students. Even the most quiet student during a Harkness discussion is very involved, learns to participate, and is very gung-ho about getting their point across and being heard within the conversation. Whereas I feel like sometimes in a larger group, students who don't necessarily always speak out are always heard, where in the Harkness discussion, everyone has a voice and everyone has the ability to be heard.
I have only been incorporating the Harkness discussion in my classroom for about a year, but I can honestly say that it has already given me some of the most rewarding moments of my teaching career, especially when we're trying to analyze the lasting impact of historical events from the past and how they have shaped who we are today. If I can develop reflective and thoughtful students who can collaborate and listen, that is exactly when I think that I'm doing my job. And the best thing of all is that all of this can happen while completely putting AI and other forms of technology aside.
The word I would use to describe Harkness discussions would be perspectives, as these discussions allow students to explore other students' perspectives.
If I had to describe the heart of a Harkness discussion in one word, it would be collaboration. It's not about one person leading the conversation. It's about everyone listening, challenging, and adding to each other's ideas to explore something deeper together.
I would say it's constructive because everybody gets to have a voice in it. Aside from the grade, like you have to talk to be able to express your opinion. And I think in class sometimes a lot of people are very shy to talk, but here you're allowed to express your opinion even if it's different from everybody else's.
Vocal, because everyone has to be like vocal in the discussion. Everyone has to state their own opinion and why they chose that opinion.
Empowering.
Enlightening.
If I had to choose just one word that would encompass everything that the Harkness discussion is, I would say is the word perspective, because this method really allows students to listen actively and truly consider other viewpoints. And they do that by exercising empathy, deeper understanding, and critical thinking. So they're learning to see the complexity of an issue, not just try to defend their point of view, which you would traditionally do that on a debate. This is a much more powerful discussion. I love Harkness discussions.